Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Taylor Jones, and I have one question to ask you. Do you have any, and I mean any, idea what time it is? If not, let me welcome you to Season 5 of Cold Man's Winter. Last time on Cold Man's Winter, yours truly, Taylor Jones, told the story of how Marlon bounced back after dealing with depression from breaking up with Jubilee and to be exposed because of Big Ron, OG Ron, and Big Bernard, his friend up to no good from Memphis, to being considered a joke by Maureen. But with all that being said, Marlon, along with OG Ron's little brother, Little Jake, and Randall, they decided to put their life through the music, and they moved on by signing to Cloud9 Records after Shame on Me, Shame on Ye, the self diss Blue got the CEO's attention. And while they signed to Cloud9 Records, they started to build up the record company, along with Janine Alizé, who was the first signed act. But Marlon, aka MC Diaper, became the first MC to be signed. So Cloud9 was full of hip hop and R&B, and they started doing a lot of collaborations together, help each other work on EPs and projects and singles. And with all that being said, they after getting the first tour around Kentucky out the way, more individuals like Janine's group, Little Escape, now known as the Paducah Passion, as well as Miss Bridget Williams, from four artists to eight in Cloud9, to work together, make hits platinum, gold, and multi-platinum status, and being nominated for Grammys and awards, and to have music videos blow up. But because of their hit single Cloud9 Got It Going On, this was the very beginning of Cloud9's power building up, because they went diamond ever since they made the music video, which is, like I said, an homage to Soul for Reals Never Felt This Way, with a splash of Am I Dreaming by Escape, Old School, and Keith Sweat. So afterwards, even the CEO's cameo appearance, letting you know what's going down for the Cloud9 crew from Paducah, Kentucky. They went to the Dirty South tour, traveling in the southern states, since it's not local, because they were blowing up. How will this turn out for Marlon? Find out right here, right now, on Cold Man's Winter Cold Man's Winter 5, Season 5, Episode 12, as in Marlon Part 5. Now, when you thought of what went down because of the brief summary, oh, before I go any further, I would like to apologize to all individuals who couldn't hear me last time, well, from the other episode, because I sounded so quiet that you couldn't understand what I'm saying. But you know how it is when you have to film a video so late at night, and you have to respect others from sleeping. Just know that. But the show must go on. Back to what I was saying. After what went down, they actually got together. MC Diaper, Little Jacob, Rando, Janine, Paducah Passion, and Bridget Williams. They performed their diamond certified hit Cloud9 is in the House to wrap up the show. And they wanted to say thanks to each and every one of y'all, to the fans in every state. But after the tour was over, Bridget spotted Marlon. It's like, Marlon, why so down? Well, it's a good question, Bridget. Still thought about my dad and my mom. You get in contact with them? Well, my mama died from my father. They got into an argument and he pulled the trigger. I never felt so happy to be where I'm at right now, but even though I feel like I owed my dad somewhat of an apology, even though he hurted me. Well, I was in the same situation. I couldn't stand my auntie. The cops killed her because she was starting to act a fool. She shot at them with an Uzi and nearly killed my brother Jamal. Although he was the one that called the police. And because of that song that I did, with your help, either that or I would have come straight to little Jacob and or Randall, I wouldn't have been able to make it this far. At some point, you have to let the past die down and pray for better days. But at the same time, I just want to thank you. Thank you, Marlon. For what? For helping me get through becoming somebody to help me out with my music. I never thought that I would make a smash hit and make another one, like a posse cut, as rappers would call it, to go diamond, 10 million copies sold, and to make Paducah, Kentucky proud for who we are. From the University of Kentucky to being all around the United States of America, letting our light so shine, performing our hip-hop and R&B. You made it happen. You made your dream come true. You can't let that die down over the past memories that were dark. You're gonna be okay, Marlon. And with powerful, inspiring, encouraging words from Bridget, she gave him a hug. She was so happy to make it this far, but she wanted Marlon to realize that you can't stop now. You got to keep on pushing, as the Impressions once sung before Curtis Mayfield went solo to do black exploitation, funk music. It made perfect sense. But afterwards, like after a couple weeks, like taking a break after touring, the CEO was fair. And he also wanted all of the artists to realize that in a couple of weeks, they would have to get ready to take it up a notch. But KD, Karina Denver, she stopped by Marlon's house to see if everything's okay with him. Because everybody was tired from traveling to performing. And of course, they need some rest. But they have to make sure to keep the Cloud 9 success rising high. They want to go higher than Cloud 9. They want to take their music to the mainstream worldwide. Good and bad times, they have to keep it going. So, one day, Katie stopped by Marlon's house just to say hello, check on him. like a Christian, although she was wondering if she can help her out. Help her out with what? A new song? That was like one thing, but come to think of it, he was working on creating a song on his own because he was bumping Cruz, my ever loving, my chick, my ever loving chick. For you I never switch. The song that Randall's dad loved, Katie's dad loved. It's kind of like he made a beat, but he was thinking about coming up with a title. And I think the title that stood out to him for Marlon was Who, What, Where Am I? No. Who, What, Where I Am. Who, Where, and What I Am. Yeah. That's better. Who, Where, What I Am. And it sampled Sade's Stronger Than Pride, which, if you remember, that was KD's favorite song. And that song blew up. How? He actually had a version of him doing the OG version, the regular, as a single for himself. He produced his own track, wrote his own lyrics, and put it to the test. Heck, he even let KD listen to it. And he said that it was all done. And he did the song for around 30 to 45 minutes. So he had the song down packed too. And of course, he had to make sure to give credit to Sade, because every time a person did a song, he or she had to give credit, as in to prevent them from dealing with copyright infringements and have some sample clearances, like get an approval. So they decided to come up with an idea to have an approval in advance by giving shout outs and song credits to the original artist. So he decided to give Sade some respect for the song Stronger Than Pride. But after hearing the full-length song, which is kind of like, it was two long verses. 24 bars each verse. So that's like 48 bars. He did have a chorus, but after the second verse, the chorus played twice. And then after the second time you hear the chorus, that's when he like does a speaking dialogue, like he's about to close up the song, whether mentioning a year, the record label, Cloud9, and that was that. And even if it means to fade the song, which he did, and he was thinking about making a music video for that. He had a picture of it, but KD decided, I like that. I like it. That could be a good hit single. Radio friendly. But how about the remix? I would like to help you with that. Now, Marlon was in luck. Marlon got help from KD. The Candy Burrs from Paducah Passion. And of course, when she arrived, she was dressed in... She had a basketball jersey from the University of Kentucky. And let's say that the jersey was NBA legend Jamal Mashburn that played for the Charlotte Hornets from the late 90s, early 2000s, before the Hornets relocated to New Orleans at the time. Yeah. She wore a Kentucky Wildcats jersey, college basketball jersey, the NCAA type, with NBA legend Jamal Mashburn. Hair pressed with a bandana, and she wore a black bandana, not to be confused to be a criplet, because Kentucky school colors was blue, but she didn't want to get caught up in being mistaken as a criplet. So blue jeans and white Nike shoes with the blue checks on it, and even with the blue shoelaces, she was all doped out in blue, dripping blue, Kentucky blue. And so the first and second verse the first verse stayed the same for Marlon's part, but she added a chorus where she sung a snippet, like an element, an interpolation of Sade's, I still really, really love you. Love is stronger than pride. But instead she said, I still really, really love you for where, who, and what you are. Who, what, and where I am. Marlon responded back like a call and respond. So the second verse, she let it rip. And she had the cleanest verse. 24 bars for the second verse. And for the third verse, Marlon and KD, they had to split. Marlon did 12 bars, while Karina, KD, did 12. And they actually clicked. So the remix was taken care of smoothly. The song was longer because there was a third verse. And with the help of KD, it's like a dream come true for her to rap a verse and to sing the chorus. She raps and sings. She was getting it in. And so, after that worked out, she decided that Marlon needs to get some fresh air. So they rode around Kentucky, and they started to question what's next for Cloud9, because Katie was telling Marlon that Janine's older sister, Michelle, she was working on some material. She worked on an album, 14 tracks. Meanwhile, she played a snippet of Lorena singing a song. She had a hit single all by herself, but dig this. Let's just say that she paid homage to R&B singer Her. I mean, because what's funny about Lorena is that she did not only sing, she can play. She can play the saxophone. She can play the keyboards or / piano or organ, like D'Angelo. Play guitar like D'Angelo and Her. She was like Her, a one woman band. She did all the hard work But that was back when she made an EP before she decided to join Cloud9. It's like, yo, this is nice. And after working with each other, after getting to an understanding and getting along, KD and Marlon, they knew that the song that they made was going to be a big hit. But all of a sudden, they spotted little Jake. Shook. Ain't no such thing as halfway crook. Scared to death, scared to look. He shook. But how? Because of the so-called threat. He got a threat from Big Bernard, cussing his head off, dissing him, knowing that little Jake was considered a sellout, all because he was hanging out with Marlon. But little Jacob didn't want anything stupid to happen. And he even made him think of Marlon's hardships after breaking up with Jubilee. So Jacob told KD and Marlon what went down. And Marlon really had to give him a hint. If I recalled, me and Randall stomped both Ron and Bernard, jumped them, took their guns, and they can't stop us. Forget about being called a sellout. You're gonna be all right. You have the right to remember who you came from. So to cheer him up, Marlon played Who, Where, What I Am. His version followed by the remix version featuring KD. And it's like, yo, man, KD, your mama will be very proud of you. Well, that's because Stronger Than Pride by Sade was her favorite song. She was a diehard Sade fan, like her mother. But Marlon was digging in the crates. His father actually had a crew album, The Dirty 30, with the song My Ever Lovin' on there. That song was so timeless that it's like so smooth that it gives him the power to come up with a brand new song based on that. You know, it was cool. So later on, like a few days passed, the CEO of Cloud9 Recordings were expecting all the artists, the 8 artists, to have some brand new material. And Marlon and KD said, I got one for you. So they listened. He heard a snippet of the first of the Marlon version, the original Who, Where, What I Am. Then they switched it up to the remix featuring KD. But they wanted to hear KD's part, which was verse 2. But they heard the chorus. Yo, KD, you and Marlon, you need to make a video for this right here, right now. So they made a music video. They made 2. One music video, it was Marlon by himself. And in the second version, KD appears. Marlon, he wore a blue flannel shirt with low sunglasses, and he had had a cap that has the word Kentucky written on it, because that's where they're from. Paducah, Kentucky. But on the remix video, KD was dressed up like Candy Burst one day from the Love on My Mind hit single cover. Apple cap to the back, flannel shirt. She was still rocking the baggy clothes for women. The black pants like Dickies. Timberland booties, and a vest, a slim vest. I mean, she made Candy Burst look so good again. She made Candy Burst look 17 again. KD. And she was like street with it. She gave her all. And the hit single, it turned out to be a hit single. The original version, it was alright. But the remix, it put KD on the map. To the fact that she decided to add that as a part of her album, her long-awaited album, because she still had to come up with some material just to wrap it up. So because of that, she's like, you know what? I've been holding on too long. It's time for me to release my album. And they released an album, KD, and the title was Long Awaited, in parentheses, for a good reason, in parentheses. And she used the old school parental advisory explicit lyrics logo, because if you recall, on that album she had that diss track to Maureen, and she even had shout outs. The last track she had a shout out, had to do a shout out like DJ Paul and Juicy J did when they did volume mixtapes back when they were known as the 666 Mafia in Memphis, from the Memphis Underground sound of the early 90s. She actually gave a shout out to many people. First and foremost, the Lord, and she even said that out of her own mouth, I have sinned, I repent of my sins. She even gave a shout out to her family and friends for supporting her, as well as her group Little Escape, now known as Paducah Passion. Little Jacob, Rando, MC Diaper, the CEO, and the good folks of Cloud9 Recordings, followed by the entire city of Paducah, as well as the University of Kentucky that made her who she became, a powerful woman. As well as a special shout out to the musicians that she had to give credit to for sample clearance purposes, and to make sure that they get on the right page. Especially Candy Burst Tucker. She gave a shout out to that. She gave a shout out to Escape, from Candy to Tamika, Latasha, and Tiny, because her friends, they became Little Escape. But speaking of which, Randall had an idea to come up with a way to end their next tour. Like whenever they are touring, they have to come up with something. They was thinking about singing one song. What song is that? I don't know. Let's just say that he was coming up with some Lawrence Welk type. You know, the good night, sleep tight, and pleasant dreams to you. Here's a wish and a prayer, and every dream come true. And now, till we meet again, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Good night, but Marlon like, nah, scratch that. Marlon, why? They don't know that. They don't know that song. They don't even watch the Lawrence Welk show because it was out 50, 60, 70 years ago. Matter of fact, since we've been enjoying the success of being in Cloud 9, we might as well end it with a Pledge of Allegiance. What do you mean by that? Just to let the fans know, like, we do a call and response. We would ask them to put their hand on their right heart, like doing the original pledge, but it's going to be like this. I pledge of allegiance to Cloud 9 Recordings, or just say plain old Cloud 9 of the United States of America, and to the record industry for which it stands, one sound under God, indivisible, with rhythm and rhymes for all. I like that. I like that. Randall agreed with the pledge, and he even decided to put that as an outro, like a little reminder. Because after coming up with a somewhat PSA, an outro turned PSA, he would have to do a pledge. Matter of fact, the CEO, they came to Randall and Marlon, and he was shocked at Marlon. What exactly did you do? I came up with an idea. We were coming up with an idea for if we conclude the tour, the next tour we gonna have. I was thinking we can end it off with a pledge, like Pledge of Allegiance. So he told the CEO what the pledge was, and Marlon and Randall, they had to demonstrate it. But since they were pledging allegiance to Cloud 9, CEO was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with that. I like that idea. We're going to end it the Cloud 9 way. The Cloud 9 Pledge of Allegiance. I like this. Oh, by the way, Marlon, that song you did with KD, the Who, Where, What Am I, What I Am song, the music video went #1, the remix video that is, and let's just say that song is hit #1 on billboards for you and KD. But since it's only been like a couple weeks, you just got certified platinum right away. But then a few years later, that song, Who, Where, What Am I, What I Am, it went quintuple platinum, 5 times platinum a few years later. But we're sticking with the timeline. So, Janine's debut album, it went well. But afterwards, KD, her album went well. It was certified the G, the O, the L, the D. At first it was gold, but after 3 months it was platinum. 3 months later, it became multi-platinum. The highest she ever had was triple platinum. KD went triple platinum for her album Long Awaited, for a good reason. But while she was certified that, Janine, Michelle, Lorena, and KD, the Paducah Passion, released their debut album, self-titled, and with the help of Bridget Williams, Marlon, MC Diaper, Randall, and Little Jacob, they started making noise. The Paducah, Kentucky version of Escape, taking over. 3 singles, all certified gold and platinum. Some of the song, but their singles did not hit number 1. They actually ended up in the top 5. The first song was number 5. The other song was number 2. And the third and final track, it hit number 4. Respectively, they were in the top 5 for the Billboard, even though it was the top 10, but they made the top 5 mark for 3 songs. 3 singles, the top 5 singles, but not number 1. There were music videos made. One music video, they paid an homage to Understanding by Escape. Little Jacob, on the other hand, he made a debut album. Last time he made an EP, but this time he's going for the LP. And the LP was called What Did You Expect? And he actually ended up putting his blood, sweat, and tears, 20 tracks on the album, the debut album. Help out from the Cloud9 crew. Production done mostly by him, MC Diaper, and Rando. A couple diss tracks aimed at his older brother, Ron, and, not to mention, Bernard, that threatened him. And unfortunately, the diss tracks, that's when he started cursing like a sailor. He went way off, but he wasn't going to let Mr. Bernard from Memphis punk him, just like he was a bad influence to his older brother Ron, causing Marlon and Ron's friendship to die. And that diss track actually blew up, like UNLV's Dragon from the River dissing Mystical. But that diss track was called Who Shook Now? So, just like the infamous Mobb Deep, they used the Herbie Hancock sample, but he had to make a different beat, a different bass line, a different sound. That way he wouldn't sound like the infamous Mobb Deep's Shook Ones Part 2. And let's just say that the Bloods and Crips, they were throwing their hands in the air, throwing their guns in the air, shooting up shots, bumping that track, as if they were doing Onyx a favor. You know, throw your guns in the air and buck like you just don't care. But this is Paducah. All the hood folks from Paducah, Kentucky, hooting and hollering, like running their hands up, yeah, yeah, bumping it. And even the ones that had old school lowriders, 6.4s, and you know, hydraulics, bumping that sound, 808 basses, hanging out at outside a parking lot of an old convenience store has been closed down for for a couple decades. And of course the whole city was planning to demolish the buildings, but since the black folks, like the teenage folks on a Friday night, like to hang out, it's like their turf, their territory. They can't be stopped. That's until the cops come driving by, planning to evacuate the area. But dig this, yo. Dig this. I have a feeling that after little Jacob put Big Bernard in his place, as well as his older brother, all hell was breaking loose, especially for the Memphis hardheads, the Memphis evil, gruesome, twosome. You know what I'm saying? But when I said all hell was breaking loose, like, let's say that Jubilee had enough. So Jubilee picked up OG Ron, and they had a talk while driving. They had a talk, and it turned into an altercation. Well, not an altercation, but an argument. Everybody knew that Ron was up to no good, and Bernard, he lost his mind. He lost his mind. But that's when he had to bring up Marlon. Well, what about Marlon? Well, what about your little brother Jacob? They already made diss tracks over you. They're taking over the rap game, the music industry in Paducah, Kentucky. #1 hits, platinum, gold, and all you ever did was follow that jerk Bernard. Have you completely lost your mind? No wonder Marlon was right. Matter of fact, little Jacob called you a sellout, as well as Big Bernard. So she was trying to make a point, but things started going completely downhill. Because while they were driving and talking about the situation, OG Ron realized he really messed up. But he found out in the last minute. Matter of fact, it was also Jubilee's last minute. You know why? Because some random jerks were hooping and hollering, driving around, doing donuts in the middle of traffic, knowing good and doggone well the police had enough of their shenanigans that the light was green when Jubilee was driving, but the guys doing donuts, they were actually bumping Little Jacob's diss track. They were like having a good time, like New Jersey vibe good time, riding in a stolen automobile. And then, bam, while driving in the green light, guys that were driving doing donuts in the middle of the streets. Heck, they even were spotted on camera. But one guy had the nerve to throw the middle finger up while the camera flashed for the stupid insolence that the police car accidentally hit Jubilee and Ron. But you know what's real messed up? You know what's really messed up about that? After the police car accidentally hit Jubilee's car, boom! The thugs that were the donut driving thugs, the donut making thugs, the street donuts, they just bounced. And then what? The thugs came back and they were about to pop shots at the police for trying to get him. They were like ruthless, wild, rough, ruthless, and wild. Shooting shots at the cops with an Uzi. Yeah, look at you now, double crosses. But then, while shooting, 3, 2. Ron was like, oh, he had a cut, blood gushing from his side of his head, and he saw Jubilee. Oh shucks, Jubilee. Oh man, Jubilee was dead, head on. And the police, they actually survived the crash, but they had to deal with the situation that they were going to get humiliated and they got shot at. But while they were getting shot at, OG Ron tried his very best to stop the thugs for killing his friend, who tried to talk some sense to him. But little did he knew he was too late. Like many society. But now it's too late. Jubilee's car blew up. The cops ended up dead from the explosion. OG Ron had the worst conditionings. He got burned from the explosion because it was close to him. He was running out the car and then boom. But as for the thugs, well, it turns out they were so happy that they spotted a big thrill. Whoa, yo, man, that was dope. Hey, yo, man, let's get out of here. But before they could, a couple police cars showed up, and they actually planning to arrest them. But the street donut makers They actually ended up shooting at them, but they didn't last long because the Uzi was running out of bullets and the cops opened fire. Opened fire at the car. The driver ran for his life, but the cop shot him down from the back, and the guy that was acting drunk with the Uzi, he ended up getting shot. So the cops that accidentally hit Jubilee and OG Ron and the thugs, the street donut makers, they all died. In the middle of the street, traffic lights with cameras. MPD had to find a way to get everybody that was driving through safety. And of course, where was Big Bernard when this happened? Minding his business, or with some girl at a party, looking for I ain't gonna say that. If you was a Memphis underground hip hop head, you know the street lingo. You know what it is. Looking for some sex. He's trying to be a thug, a baller, a pimp. Like Kingpin, Skinny Pimp, but he was more wicked, more wild. He was on that, I don't care about the police. They can get the middle finger. Big Bernard, he was on his own now, but he didn't care. But that was until somebody bumped that diss track that Lil Jacob made. And because of that, he shot the radio. Turn that crap off. Everybody saw the fool in Bernard. But to top it all off, the girl that he was looking for the sex, she even was shocked. She was shook. But then all of a sudden, someone turned on the TV and spotted a picture of OG Ron and the so-called incident that went down. Like, what? And even Big Bernard had the nerve to trip and scream, "What the F-bomb? What the F-bomb?" Because after seeing OG Ron get killed from an explosion, oh boy, he knew life was going to be completely downhill. And he was planning to get revenge, claiming that it had something to do with Marlon, Little Jacob, and the Cloud9 crew from Kentucky. But because of that incident, it hit home for Little Jacob. Because Little Jacob's family called him. Heck, he was so hurt when he heard the news that he started crying. He lost his older brother. Marlon was shocked to see him. Jubilee, no, not Jubilee. Janine Alizé, KD, Bridget, they spotted him too. And Randall. But then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Maureen shows up. In walks Miss Maureen. They spotted little Jacob crying. Marlon wanted to ask, "Yo, what went wrong? What's wrong?" "I just got word from my family in Memphis, and they said it was bad." "What?" "Your ex-friend, man, and your ex-girlfriend. They were caught up. They were arguing, talking about how messed up he was in his life for dropping out of Memphis and should have stayed in Paducah with you to stay away from trouble. And then all of a sudden, some random punks were doing donuts in the middle of the streets, flipping off the cameras, and the police started chasing, but ended up hitting Jubilee." "What?" "Jubilee got hit on, son. She gone." And then the same thugs came back to shoot at the police officers, and then the car exploded. Both the cops dead, Jubilee dead, and now my brother, Big Ron, OG Ron, is dead. It's kind of like he left to regret dissing him. But he had the right to diss him. A wake-up call, a blunt wake-up call is what little Jacob made. And now, Bernard is peed off about it. Little Jacob was hurt about it. Everybody from the Cloud9 clan started breaking down crying. But Marlon was like, "Oh my goodness." And Maureen, she placed her arm on both Randall and Marlon. And Marlon was like, "What the heck? What? Maureen, what are you doing here?" Well, and shockingly, KD spotted Maureen. Like, "Maureen, what the? You peasant!" KD pushed Maureen. No, wait. KD, just chill. There's gotta be a reason why Maureen is here. "Yes, it's true. I heard your diss track about me, and you even performed with her. And I want to come back to apologize for what went down, especially for you, Marlon. I should have known that Bernard and OG Ron started to act a fool and expose you. They actually came to me first. So it's kind of like she wanted to break down and cry too, knowing that it was all a complete mishaps, which she admitted it was a needle in the haystack that caused Maureen and Randall to stop dating. And to think I was about to propose to you on that same day too. But now I see where I went wrong. Man, talk about a blunt wake-up call, and now we're mourning for little Jacob's brother. And now you're telling me all this after one long depressing year. But you bounced back. What about you? I I messed up bad. I came to ask for forgiveness. Well, you got it. But as just like KD with her arms folded, Mr. Mr. Marlon was like, "You mean to tell me that you were told to play the part as if they threatened to kill you too?" Yes. And Randall was so mad because in his mind he was like, I can forgive you, but I will not forget about that incident, that stupid little stunt." So Cloud 9 started to fall downhill just for a short period of time, all because of Lil Jacob's brother, OG Ron's death in Memphis. But because of that, Lil Jacob didn't attend the funeral. Marlon didn't attend the funeral. They had to keep the music going because the next album that he worked on, Marlon as MC Diaper, he made sure to dedicate the album to his ex-friend, his ex-girlfriend, as well as his mother, his father who was locked up for killing the mother, because he remembered what Bridget told him after the Dirty South tour. But he started to pray, and his second album, not a mixtape album this time, a real life album, he started to focus on positive things. Like, no longer did he curse. He made sure to take things slow and try to calm down with his anger. That's it. But the album that he created was called, and let's not forget, that album that he was working on, it included the hit single, Who, Where, What Am I? The original and the remix. To the fact that he started to listen to his father's cover, Not Gonna Cry. And he started to cover his father's cover of Mary J. Blige's Not Gonna Cry. But instead of saying not gonna cry nor smoke a blunt or drink 40s here week after week, I am not gonna cry nor tell a lie. No. I am not gonna cry nor fuss or fight or curse or say bad words week after week. Dang it. I am not gonna lie nor get depressed. Forget the devil. I made myself weak. He changed his father's lyrics to that. So he did. So he was singing a song. So he sung, just like he sung background for Rando's album single, Mr. Rando. And at the end of the album, to end this album, just like he told Randall and the CEO, I pledge of allegiance to Cloud 9. Matter of fact, every artist, Bridget Williams, Paducah Passion, Little Jacob, he actually had to add that at the end of the album, as well as preparing for another album, dedicated to his older brother, and also dedicated to the haters, especially Big Bernard. So, after healing from losing the loss of his brother, as Marlon was healing from losing the loss of his ex-girlfriend, Janine actually found interest in him, in Marlon. So then they started dating. Janine Alizé, with or without Paducah passion, started dating MC Diaper Marlon Hartford. And he was so pleased with her getting along. But this time, he's not going to let anything, any rumor, slow their love down. And they've been dating for a couple years. But let's get back to the basics. While performing on a tour, or performing on an upcoming tour, but this time they had to travel to the west, which means they had to have a bus settled for them, a plane flight. They traveled from Paducah to Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, home of the Supersonics, formerly, to Salem or Portland, to LA, the West Side tour. Cloud9 in the West Side, touring in the West Side. West Side. They were having the time of their lives, but when Marlon performed, he made sure to sing his father's cover of Not Gonna Cry. Everybody started to come together. And when they performed outside, some folks in the audience had their lighters up. And they sang along because they even know the song Not Gonna Cry by his father, back when he was no good. This was like independent Paducah, Kentucky type stuff. Everybody was rocking with Paducah, Kentucky. Kentuckians, they even had to travel to support Cloud9 Records. And at the end of every tour, all the Cloud9 artists wanted the fans to repeat after them. The Pledge of Allegiance. The Cloud9 Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody was so pleased. Everybody. Bridget made her second album. She started to take R&B seriously. And little Jacob, he was been planning to make a second album right away. But this time he did ask Marlon for a big favor to help out come up with a song. So after the West Side tour was over, Cloud9 and the West Side tour, everybody started making new material, another album. Still going platinum and gold and multi-platinum. But they made a sequel to Cloud9 Got It Going On with Still Got It Going On. And this time, they did it again. They were dressed in black in the music video, with the CEO dressed up like he was in Run DMC. But now the music video is different because they're all dressed in white. White tennis shoes, white t-shirts, white hats, white jackets. Dressed in white with a black background. And the CEO had to give a shout out to all the individuals for supporting Cloud9, as if he was Ronnie Ron, the mastermind of Dangerous Records, known for Bloods and Crips banging on wax. But also he wanted to say, get this out the way. He said the Cloud9 Pledge of Allegiance, and then the beat started playing. Cloud9 still got it going on. Another certified diamond hit. Cloud9 got better and better, to the fact that in 2016, it was their year, Cloud9, the year of the Cloud9. They were all over the place. BET Awards, the Grammys, in which they had multiple nominations. Janine won a Grammy. KD and Marlon, they won a Grammy for Who, Where, What Am I, the remix. Little Jacob, he was Grammy nominated. Randall, Grammy nominated. But in the BET Awards, it was kind of like Cloud9 was taking over, like Bad Boy and Death Row taking over the 1995 Source Awards. Even when Outkast did, "The South got something to say, and that's all I got to say." That's how powerful they were. But after the so-called BET Award for 2016, the CEO wanted Cloud9 to get ready to have a after party celebrating the legacy, the success. But that's when Big Bernard came to rear his ugly head. And he spotted Marlon, MC Diaper. Tap, tap, tap. And then BAM! Punched in the face. Oh! And then all of a sudden, Randall spotted, "Oh no! Oh no, Marlon!" Everybody started to freak out. "Marlon! Oh no! This guy with a gun!" But the question was, where the heck was little Jacob? "Yeah, double crosser, you remember me? Huh? How the heck did you get here?" "Well, let's just say that I came here to get some revenge. You had some nerve to diss me a couple years ago, and now I'm all alone because of the death of the motherfreaking OG Ron. And you blaming this on me? Well, I thought you was with him. But no. You was at a party and I lost Jubilee along with OG Ron. Then again, wait a minute. The street donuts. Oh, they were they were working with you, were they? Yeah. And now look at you now, superstar, Cloud9 superstar. Your Pledge of Allegiance ain't gonna save you this time. Prepare to die, double crosser. Cause I'm sending you to hell, where you belong. Shouldn't that be where you belong? Cause, oh, I get it. You still mad cause I got your gun, huh? No. You might as well take me out. Take me out along with Marlon. Well, if it isn't white boy Randall. Mr. MC Rando. Mr. Rando, I ain't forgot about you. Matter of fact, I'm about to take y'all Negroes and witches to Cloud9 myself. Prepare to die. Oh, I'm ready to die. Like Biggie Smalls. Oh, Randall was talking smack. Quoting he was ready to die like Biggie Smalls. It was funny, that song was actually playing. But the CEO and little Jacob, they actually attacked Bernard from behind. Boom! Boom! CEO swung in the back of his head, and little Jacob bit his arm where he held the gun. Ah, dang! And of course, the Paducah Passion gave him a couple kicks in the nads, in the stomach, and kicked him. Meanwhile, Bridget tied him up. So they were all prepared. They all went super heroic on them to save Marlon. Matter of fact, they tied him up that he couldn't get up, and he even tied up his hands. And they carried him. They carried him like they were about to make hot pig out of him. But instead, they threw him in a police car while the police officers were not focused. They were distracted because they had to buy some gas, and the other one was using the bathroom at a local gas station. Bridget had the idea to write a confession, like why Bernard was tied up. And they even had to place the 9mm gun on his hip. Well, and yeah, he was screwed. Big Bernard was screwed. Because Cloud9 was not going to let anything get the best of them. And that's the way it was. So, after Big Bernard was taken away by the police in Kentucky, let's just say that they were really pleased that everybody was okay. Nobody was harmed. But a lot of albums have been made. A lot of albums made since 2014. All the way to 2020. But in 2018, they came together to a do a cover album. KD sung. Matter of fact, it was like two CDs, like a two CD set, or like Volume One, Volume Two. Volume One, KD sung Sade's "Stronger Than Pride." Marlon, he sung "Not Gonna Cry," which was a cover of his father's version. And for a rap song, he rapped "Some Things Will Never Change" by E40, while Little Jacob sang the chorus by Bo Rock. Randall sung "Mr. Wendell" by Arrested Development because he already had a cover for that song for him, Mr. Randall, but he sung Mr. Wendell. He rapped Mr. Wendell with Bridget singing in the background. Bridget sung what did she sing? She sung I'm thinking. Don't judge me. She sung "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number" by Aaliyah. With Paducah Passion singing background. But Paducah Passion they sung "Who Can I Run To" by Escape. Janine sung "But I Never Told You" by Kobe Kylet. But she had her own version of that. She loved that song. Lorena, she sung, what did she sing? She sung "Let's Wait a While" by Janet Jackson. Michelle sung "My Life" by Mary J. Blige. But when they all got together to do a song, what song did they sing? Let's say that they sung "Graffiti Bridge" with a little added rap to it. But who did the rapping? Well, let's say the CEO decided to get on the mic. And he was really good. The CEO of Cloud9 decided to do a little rap while doing a song from Prince, The Steels, Kevin Campbell, and Mavis Staples. And actually, it turned out to be a hit. "Graffiti Bridge," done by the Cloud9 crew. And that song actually blew up in memory of Prince at the time. They had to dedicate the song to Prince because they knew about his passing 2 years ago. The same year when they were taking over the awards, winners and nominated. They made it this far. But in 2019, after dating for a couple of years, Janine Alizé and Marlon Hartford, aka MC Diaper, decided to tie the knot. They got engaged and they got married in June 2019. the first, but at the time, the the cover album, Volume 1, it was certified quadruple platinum, 4 times platinum. The second, this Volume 2, it was certified gold. It was not the best work, but they still made it happen. It was certified gold at the time because let's just say that it was certified double platinum this year, right now, March 2024. Now remember, this is a fictional story. Randall and Maureen, they still had to work out their differences, like from a song like Escape said, "What I need from you is understanding." Matter of fact, after the Covers album was released, Maureen and Randall, they started to take their relationship seriously, to the fact that they want to put this 4-year-old nightmare to an end. So they got engaged. They got married. But in 2020, they ended up getting the first child. But what's shocking, it was the pandemic era, the COVID-19 era, when Randall and Maureen got married and, well, had their child. Bridget, on the other hand, she made a couple more albums, staying true to her R&B roots. Splash a little bit of gospel in it. The little Escape turned Paducah Passion. They stick to their Cloud9 roots. And they made a couple albums. KD was still rapping and singing. Janine Alizé was still making music. But now, as Marlon's wife in 2019, they made sure to be 100% serious. They fell in love. And even Marlon made a promise to Jubilee that she will always be remembered as he moves on with a brand new love of his life. Lorena, she actually did the dang thing. Her second album was entitled One Woman Band. She was still singing, but she also played. She had a couple songs that were acoustic, no drums, just piano and or guitar. And she still get along making tracks with the Paducah Passion. Michelle, she did a couple songs. She was featured on some soundtracks, but she still made albums as well. Mr. Rando still made music. Little Jacob still doing his thing, producing, songwriting, singing, rapping, mostly rapping. But unfortunately, the Cloud9 party came to an end in 2020 during the COVID-19 era. The CEO actually got got caught up in the coronavirus thing, and he was so weak he couldn't even walk. He ended up like Jay Dilla. He had to be in a wheelchair. He had to wear a mask, but fortunately, his health started to decline. The CEO of Cloud9's Nine Recordings, his health started to decline. And in November of 2020, the CEO of Cloud9 Records, he made it big for Marlon and the others. He succumbed to the disease, the virus. Marlon was the first person to hear the news, and he was like, dang. You know what? We need to come together one last time. So, Bridget, the Paducah Passion, Little Jacob, along with Randall, they had to come together one last time after hearing the passing of their CEO that helped them pave the way through hip hop and R&B. He ended up dying from coronavirus, and Marlon's idea was to take over and make one last album as a crew project, as a Cloud9 project. Now, they did some projects together. They did do a Christmas album some years back. They made cover albums. They did volumes 1 and 2. And they decided to do one last joyride. Cloud9, one last joyride. To the fact that because of the coronavirus, they had to stay aware, had to stay apart, isolate, give space, wear a mask, wash hands, trying to survive. And they did this to honor the CEO's legacy. Marlon came up with the idea to come up finding some clips for the intro and the outro track. And this album was only 20 tracks long. Paducah Passion made a song both as a group and when it was just Michelle, Janine, Alizé, KD, hip hop and or R&B, and Lorena, MC Diaper, Little Jacob, and Rando. 8 artists that stood with Cloud9 for 5 going on 6 years, and the pandemic slowed everything down, caused the CEO to pass away. Untimely demise, yo. But they made sure to keep it going. So for the last project, even Marlon, along with Randall and Little Jacob, they made a promotion, like a commercial, knowing that they still isolate. They found a way to make it work. They isolated. They had to wear their masks. But when it was just one of them, their masks are off. And they had to speak out. They promoted the final album for Cloud9. They played snippets of the songs as if they were hit singles, like What to Expect. And they even talked about the release. They released the album for January of 2021. And that album did so well that everybody decided to pitch in. They pitched in for Cloud9 for One Last Joyride. And the album was dedicated to the CEO. And that album did so well. Now remember, there were 20 tracks. All the artists, they all had a single. Even the group Paducah Passion. One song from each individual turned out to be a hit. Now that is crazy. That's like 9 singles. 9. One from Marlon, one from Randall, one from Little Jacob, one from Janine Alize, one from KD, one from Lorena, one from Michelle, one from Bridget, and one from Paducah Passion. Solo and group. 9 singles. 9 hits from that album. Out of 20 dead gum tracks. One Last Joyride. Cloud9. Released in 2020. But in stores January 2021. Recorded in 20. Released in 21. And the album became a big deal that they ended up getting a Grammy for the best album of the year. And they did this in memory of the CEO. To the fact that Cloud9, they had to close it down. They had to close down Cloud9 forever. Shut it down. Just like shut down Jive, shut down LaFace, shut down Jay. Profile, we're calling it over. Rockefeller is dead. Fox Music is over with. Warner Brothers, they had to rename themselves to Warner Records. After 60 years, Warner Brothers decided to change to Warner Records. Man. And it's like it never been the same since MCA died, the record company. But it's a double entendre because MCA from the Beastie Boys, he died as well. Adam Yauch, rest in peace. They won a Grammy for The Last Joyride. And they all came together. Although they still had to isolate. They said the pledge one last time. Together. I pledge of allegiance to Cloud9 of the United States of America and to the Republic, no, not Republic, to the record industry for which it stands, one sound under God, indivisible with rhythm and justice for all. No, not justice, rhymes with rhythm and rhymes for all. There you go. But man, and what's funny, they did one last cover song. Kind of like Pitch Perfect style. They had to blend Remember the Titans from the ending scene where everybody was at Gary Bardier's funeral. And the Titans, they were singing, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Meanwhile, Marlon started off singing that, and the fellas joined in. The females, they harmonized the way that Boys to Men did on It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. But little Jacob did the first rap verse of How Long Will They Mourn Me, like from the dirty version, but he kept it clean. Janine sung Wanye's first verse. You know, how do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweighs the bad. Bridget joins in with, I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever has gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. KD, she sung Nathan's part all by herself. I don't know where this road is going to lead. All I know is where we've been and what we've been through. If we get to see tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the pain. I hope it's worth all the wait. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. But Rando, he rapped the clean version of Tupac's verse of How Long Will They Mourn Me. You know, the so many buried here throughout the years for pouring out liquor and beers for all the homies that wasn't here. Can't help but shedding tears in the cemetery, making me wonder if this loaded pistol's necessary. Even the preachers can see the pain through my mother's eyes. While walking by, can't help but sympathize when brothers die. Maybe the pain will make the situation change. No murder for murder, the homicide will never end. This crooked game, bullets is blasting, time passed, brothers relax. Retaliation is the aftermath. All that remains is his corpse wrapped in plastic. Call up his mama, tell her baby's in the casket. No love for him. Just throw his body in the grave. Even the pistols and all the prayers couldn't save him. Look how they played him. They should have murdered me when I was born. Now I'm trapped in the violence of the storm. And Lorena sung And I Take With Me the Memories to Be My Sunshine After the Rain the first time when Wanye sung that. And Michelle had to end it like that. She sung that. But after she sang, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, Marlon ended the song with going back to the beginning. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Rest in peace to our CEO. Forever Cloud9. And that they made a last music video for that. The very last music video for Cloud9 Records ever. Then they came together after the album was certified diamond. 9 singles. certified diamond. They ended up releasing a greatest hits album, as in the very best of Cloud9, including the iconic Cloud9 Pledge of Allegiance. But they even had to come up with a last thing. They did an outro where everybody from Cloud9 Records, the eight MCs and singers, they came together. 3 men, 5 women, black, all black, 1 white. They all came together to say thanks as they sign out. And then they moved on. So what happened? After Cloud9 died down because the CEO passed away, it's best to say goodbye to Cloud9 Recordings. Marlon got along with his father. His father wanted to appreciate what he did when he came to covering his song, not his version of Mary J. Blige's "Not Gonna Cry." He finally got himself together, and he still have to wait until 2027 to get out. So Marlon, and his wife Janine Alizé, now Janine Hartford. Alizé is part of a stage name. They still reside in Paducah. KD, she's still residing in Paducah. Corina Denver still resides in Paducah. Michelle, Janine's older sister, she now resides in Frankfort, the capital of Kentucky. And matter of fact, Lorena, she moved on to, let's say that she moved on to New York City, making it big. Like, she became the one woman band, just like her. Little Jacob, he ended up getting a tattoo, a rest in peace tattoo of his brother OG Ron on the left shoulder. Still doing rap tunes, and he's still calling out Paducah, still representing Paducah till the day he dies. That's what his motto is. I'm representing Paducah, Kentucky till the day I die. Man. Maureen and Randall, they had their firstborn child during the coronavirus pandemic. But nowadays in 2024, they're still residing in Paducah. And their daughter was named after Marlon's ex-girlfriend, Jubilee, to keep Jubilee's legacy alive. Randall decided to name his first daughter Jubilee Annabelle. Nice. But as for Jubilee. Wait a minute. I can't forget about Bridget. Bridget became a writer. She wrote a she wrote a book called Life After Cloud 9. Well, Life After Cloud 9. It became a bestseller. And she was planning to make she wrote it since 2022. 2022, she had it written down. It became a bestseller. But now, fictionally, this year, she's planning to make part 2. Life After Cloud 9, part 2. What's next for me? Yeah. So, everybody from Cloud 9 was taking care of business and moving on. But as for Jubilee's ex-boyfriend Marlon and his wife Janine, wait, I already said that. They're still residing in Paducah, and they're taking a lot of people's autographs even after Cloud 9 was over. Everybody was still praising their music. They were the reason. They said they were the reason why Paducah stood tall. Even after coronavirus hit, they made an impact. So Paducah was very, very proud of Marlon, Jacob, MC Diaper, Hartsford. Even when he had to shut the haters up, claiming that he was up to no good. But as for Big Bernard from Memphis, he ended up getting murdered over some hood crap. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. And nobody came to the funeral. And OG Ron's family despised him for being a bad influence. Because they found out that the guys doing the donuts, they were working for Big Bernard the whole time, and they ended up dead. So it's kind of like them saying what Brother Lynch would say, rest in pee, as in urine. To heck with you while you're dead. It's like peeing on the bad guy's grave. Some believe in karma. Others believe in reaping what you sow. With all that being said, everybody that was from Cloud 9 Records, they moved on, and they still represent Paducah, Kentucky to the fullest. And that right there is the very end of the 5-part story of Marlon. And for that, I just want to say thank you very much for sticking with me through the 5 parts. From the prequel referring to the life of his father before he got arrested, to the origins of Marlon from youth to the 8th grade. Part 3, I was talking about what life was like in high school, and even during and after college, and where hatred and depression starts to kick in. To part 4, when I talked to you about what it was like to make music, to explain his problems, his depression that he was facing after a breakup, after being exposed and losing a friend for causing the exposure to happen, to being a Paducah MC, to working with others, to making multi-platinum tunes, to being Grammy nominated. And now I conclude the story of Marlon, a fictional character from Paducah, Kentucky that made it big in the music business, overcoming his fears all the hardships, and realizing that sometimes you have to forgive others, but you got to forgive yourself and learn a thing or two. So with all that being said, if you can hear me clearly, I want to say thank you for sticking with me after all these five episodes. I put my heart and soul to trying to move quickly and wrap it up, because spring is coming and I have to end Cold Man's Winter with a bang. So with all that being said, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell if you haven't already, and there'll be more in stores. The link to the latest episode will be in the description bar down below. And finally, after 5 episodes, 5 parts, I present to you long-awaited Sweet Lady of the Week. But instead, I give you 5 for the 5 parts of this episode of Marlon. So who are the 5 sweet ladies that I can think of? Like Monday through Friday type 5. Well, I can give you a couple. Sweet lady number 1 through 5. Lanivia Martin. Tylen Taylor. Taylor Duke. Who else? Who else do I want to give a shout out to? Now, I got 3 sweet ladies. I need 2 more. Oh, yes. Ashley Caldwell. Oh, no. Ashley Terry. She just got married. Ashley Terry just got married. And for the 5th sweet lady, because I did a 5-part episode, should I say it? Then again, yeah, I should. Cameron Hillsman. That's right. Lanivia Martin, Tylen Taylor, Taylor Duke, Ashley Terry, and Cameron Elise Hillsman. And to all those 5 sweet ladies, I made sure not to forget about you. And with all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out. Until we meet again the next episode, thank you for watching the 5-part topic of Marlon. But the best is yet to come.